Don't you know that you're a grown-up? No games, no punts. Not allowed if you're a grown-up.
You probably best recognize Rich Sommer from his role as Harry Crane on 92 episodes of the popular AMC drama Mad Men, or recurring appearances on Netflix's Glow, The Regular Show, or Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later. But his love for gaming is well documented, and that's what brought him to the Southern Fried Gaming Expo this year. GenXGrownUp had the opportunity to sit down with Rich to talk about both his acting career and his affinity for gaming.
What was your experience like on AMC's Mad Men?
Broad question. It was a lot. What was my experience? Well, I mean, it was my first time being a regular on a show, being there all the time. You know, I had guested a little tiny bit on a couple of things, but this was my first time being a full-time cast member, and it was a pretty intense experience. You know, going with this group of people that, you know, people had some passing idea of a few of them. But to see them sort of shoot into the public's awareness in such a way that I had never experienced, it was like I said, pretty intense. It's unlikely that I'll ever have anything remotely like that again. It's a little daunting in a way. You know, I always wanted to have one legacy job, one thing that when I have grandkids, I can say, you know, at one point I did this really cool thing. I just didn't expect it to be straight out of the gate. So the rest is sort of just filling time until I get to talk to my grandkids, really.
Tell us a little bit about your experience with voice acting, video games compared to TV shows, the whole experience.
I have voiced 2 video games. I did that scene in LA Noire, and then I was one of the lead characters in an indie game called Firewatch that sort of has been kind of rolling along. Really exciting to be a part of that. For me, right when Mad Men was ending, I sort of decided to focus on voiceover, because it's a way that it's a hard nut to crack. It's a really tough gig to have be your full-time gig. I'm nowhere near it being my full-time gig, but I've really enjoyed the work I've gotten to do. It is, you know, LA Noire happened because the people who cast the game were Schiff Audino casting, Carrie Audino and Laura Schiff, who also cast Mad Men. So a ton of Mad Men actors are in that game, including, of course, Aaron Staton, who was Ken Cosgrove on Mad Men and is the lead, Cole, whatever his name is, Phelps, Cole, yeah, in LA Noire. It was an incredible experience. It was really weird. Aaron and I have acted together almost as much as I've acted with anyone because of Mad Men and how much time we spent together. But we only had one day where we sat across from each other covered in ping pong balls and sitting on wooden blocks that would be turned into tables, and it was a very strange day. A lot of laughing, and the person who directed a lot of the game had also worked on Mad Men as well, so we had a good rapport. It was just a very weird way to now be interacting, but it was a thrill. I mean, I love doing it. I'd love to do more.
We understand that you're here because you have a pinball thing going on, you've got a podcast, possibly an obsession, that kind of stuff. Tell us a little bit about your pinball experience.
Well, I don't have I'm more of a board game guy myself. I have a board game podcast, but my son is wicked obsessed with pinball right now, and it's been, I'd say, we're knocking on the door about a year. We went to the bowling alley. We moved to a new area of Los Angeles, the bowling alley just across the river from us, and he started playing this Ghostbusters pinball game from Stern, and he fell head over heels. I mean, he wouldn't shut up about pinball for ever. It still hasn't stopped. He just, if there's any time, let's go to Pins. Let's go to Pins, because that's where the pinball is. They have like 4 machines, and he just goes ape for them. I have started to catch the bug. I'm trying not to own it yet. I'm trying to not own the bug, because if I own the bug, I'm going to end up owning a machine. And I'm told if you own 1 machine, you will soon own 5. And I just, for the love of God, can't do it. Not to mention the fact that I'm also told if you're going to own a pinball machine, you need to be ready to fix a pinball machine. And my hands are like babies I've done nothing with my hands. I'm like completely useless. Something goes wrong in my car, I just sort of call someone. I'm terrible. So it's very, very daunting to think of trying to fix a pinball machine. But everyone I've talked to tells me YouTube has changed everything. That you can learn from YouTube how to like build a pinball machine from the ground up. I just don't know if I can go down that road. I have so many board games. I believe something has to give at some point. If I were going to buy a pinball machine, I do guarantee it would have to be fully funded by selling a lot of board games before my wife would ever allow it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Let's dive right in and talk a little bit about your board game podcast that you mentioned. Tell us a little bit about that. Where can people find it? What is it? How long have you been doing it?
It's called Cardboard with Rich Sommer. I've been doing it now in this current incarnation for, I guess, just about 2 years. It's very sporadic and frankly hard to find. I don't promote it. I don't advertise it in any way. Today is the most I've talked about it, maybe ever, if I wasn't recording it. But the way it works is if you want to check it out ever, you would go to Twitter and find @CardboardIsLive. That's the feed. The only time it ever tweets is when it's live. I do the show live. I take callers for about an hour. We just talk about board games, whatever's on their mind, and then I shut it off and I wait another few months. And I don't announce when it's going to happen. I don't plan it myself. Every show is rife with me trying to fill time frantically. It's really a terrible experiment, but it's a lot of fun for me.
Obviously, we're Gen X grown up, Rich, and so you grew up during that same era that we did, loving the same kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about what's your favorite Gen X grown up memory growing up in the 70s, 80s era?
Well, you know, I was born in 78, so my growing up was really during the 80s. The things that pop into my head, I'm not good, I haven't stayed obsessed with these things, but the things that I was obsessed with were A-Team and Greatest American Hero. Greatest American Hero just, was casting for a reboot, right. And I auditioned for the pilot, and I fought like hell to get on that show, and didn't get cast. And I did a pilot with this same production company last year, and I was like, this is meant to be, because I loved that show, and the script was great, but then it didn't. I didn't get cast, and I don't believe the show's going, which bums me out, because I will tell you, someday maybe on the down low I'll get you the script. It was great. It was really great.
So I'm jumping right in. So the guy who founded our channel, John, he's doing a panel right now. He's obsessed with Greatest American Hero. It's one of the first videos on the channel about the box set.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah. So,
and he was talking about how like you're doing another pilot. He was so excited. He's like,
we just talked about the podcast. He's so mad about it getting picked up.
It's such a bummer. It was really good. I mean, it was not anything like the old show, but it was really cool.
Don't you know that you're a grown up?
Subscribe to Gen X Grown Up by clicking right here and enable notifications so you won't miss a thing. Use the comments down below to tell us what you think, and while you're there, a thumbs up would be great too. Please share this online wherever you hang out. Connect with GXG on social networks by clicking right here.
Basically, life sucks as a grown